It's week 12 of season 3 on iRacing, and I'm on the brink of a major milestone in this sim. Not only am I looking to build on some really strong results from Imola the previous week, but we are right on the edge of being promoted to B license, which will unlock GT3 racing for me in the coming season. So can we finish this season on a huge high, or will it all end in disaster? Let's dive in and find out. So here we are for qualifying for race number 1. Now, to catch you up on the safety rating story this week, I had completed a Mazda MX-5 Cup Advanced Class race. It allowed me to tick off one of the C license events, and while it didn't go well in terms of overall results due to an incident early in the race, we did manage to pick up 0.1 safety rating for that race, so we're going to start the week off at 3.51. But I did recognise the little MX-5s were going to be quite a risky series to finish off my week 12 on iRacing for the safety rating aspect, so it was back to our planned GT4 races here at Suzuka, and coming through to finish our first qualifying lap of the first GT4 fixed race, invalidating the very first flying lap. We're going to take a bit more of the Verstappen esports line here down to the start finish line and set a 2-minute 11.544, which was going to put us up into position 12 to start out this race. Now, the jump for the line here, and we are going to hit the green light right in the middle of this 23 car field. Lots of cars around in this very tricky opening sector here at Suzuka. Sweeping around into turn number 1, and we are able to slot into the queue here with the racing line out of turn 2 and now up to the S curves here. Now, I found over the race you had to be very patient with the car through this sector, overheat the tyres and get too much understeer, and this first sector was a bit of a nightmare. Fortunately though, we were able to slot in nicely on lap number 1. No incidents through the field in these opening corners. 15-minute race obviously as we come out through turn 7, Dunlop curve, up towards Degner's, turn number 8. Now, this was a tricky little corner here to commit quite hard to the sector, and a crucial corner here, turn number 9, up towards the hairpin. Cars 9 and 5 side by side as we come up to the hairpin, holding back a little bit here. We're going to make sure we get down to the apex, and car number 9 is left high and wide there by car 5. We're able to sneak down the inside with good drive here, and we get a little bit in front as we're coming around turns 12 all the way up towards Spoon Corner. He's still there on the inside here up towards, but I do have the inside for Spoon Corner, and we're able to drift that one wide, hold on to the racing line here. He looks like he's going to dive down a little bit towards the apex. We give a little bit of space there, but a good exit from me, and we're able to clear that car down the back straight up towards turn 14, 130R, and this was a big commitment corner here. Easy to get an off track on the outside of the circuit, and on colder tyres, not entirely sure how much to commit to this one. A little bit slow, bit of a wiggle on the curb there, and then around the outside, car 9 comes once again. Up ahead, a spin there for car number 5, and then I get sort of hip and shouldered by car 9 on the exit of the chicane, down towards the start finish line, and an eventful end to the first lap here at Suzuka. Now, the consequence of being wide out of the final turn as we get past there by car number 10, and there's a bit of pressure from the cars behind as well. Coming into turn number 1 though, a little bit of track to myself, and then coming down towards turn 2, car 10's very slow on the apex there. I go wide, and that allows the blue Porsche to go up the inside. We're trying to hold on to position here through the S curves, but unfortunately a touch, and then as the blue cars flicked back, we've got side to side contact, and I have been fired off to the outside, hitting the Armco on the outside there. Very unfortunate, and I immediately recognise the car is not handling particularly well. Something is definitely up here, so let's dive into the replay and just see exactly what has happened there. See, we're coming down into turn number 1. We've got those two cars directly in front of me. Car 10 is slow and we go to the outside, but that allows the blue Porsche up the inside there. We're trying to hold position here through the S-curves, and in hindsight, we should have backed out and been a bit more conservative there. A bit of net code, and that has pitched the rear of that Porsche a little bit, and then as he has swung back, we've gone side to side contact, and that has sent me off into the barriers there. And if we look at this angle here, you can just see it wasn't really far enough on the inside there, and it's just an unfortunate racing incident that I've really created for myself. And yes, the car has got a lot of rear end damage from hitting the barrier there. No rear wing, which was causing all of the handling dramas. Fortunately though, we do not have a meatball flag. We catch another competitor here who gets out of our way, thankfully, but it's a very lonely race here with no pace, no other cars around me at this point. And we are able to come through to finish that one with 6 incident points and unfortunately a safety rating drop to start off our GT4 races here at Suzuka in week number 12. So we swiftly move on to the Sports Car Challenge race, the 30-minute multi-class race here at Suzuka, and this would be my final C license race to get myself into that promotion window for the end of week number 12. We get the green light and a decent jump away, falling back to position 18, but with some clear track around me, out of the danger zone so to speak, going down to turn number 1. Now up in front we have blue Porsche spinning off to the outside, and then car 17 back to the apex with car 35 directly there. We take evasive action around the back of that BMW and unfortunately logs it as a contact. 4 incident points on turn number 2. Not a great way to start this one in terms of safety rating, and to be honest, I didn't even feel like I had touched that car at all. Coming around the S-curves up towards Dunlop curve here, and you might be wondering, with the safety rating in mind, why am I not starting from the back? Why am I not starting from pit lane? The reality is I've never done that, and I never feel like I would like to. My approach so far in these races has gained me safety rating, qualifying, putting my best foot forward, and I'm still here to learn, still trying to understand the racecraft and the way these races unfold. I have to take those opportunities in the sim every single time. Jumping into lap number 2, and again that 17 Mercedes was wide at turn number 2, bunching up the pack here with the 15 Aston Martin looking left and right, and I've got car number 18, the red and white BMW there, looking left and right as well. He almost decides to put the nose in at turn number 7, give a little bit of space there. Unfortunately, doesn't go up the inside too much as we head up towards turns 8 and 9, the Digna curves. A really tricky complex of corners, and get it a little bit wrong here, wide, and then with the debris in the corner entry, it results in not a great exit from me, and car 18 with a much better exit. He's looking very aggressive here. I'm expecting him to dive up the inside at the hairpin. He absolutely does. We open the steering, give him enough space there at the hairpin, and that driver takes that position, and we fall back to position number 18. Start of lap number 3 now, and unfortunately the chaos is about to continue for me. We come up towards turn number 3, following car number 18 here, but it's up in front. The pink Aston Martin pitches the blue Mercedes into a spin, and as we try and follow car number 18 around that incident, we are unfortunately collected, spin back onto circuit, feel contact with another car as well, and things have gone bad very quickly for me. Now in the replay here you can see the pink Aston Martin with too much speed into the back of the number 17 Mercedes-Benz, and as we just try and follow car 18 around the back of this incident, car 17 rolls back a little bit and collects the side of my car. We unfortunately spin into the circuit ourselves, and we have managed to collect the number 12 McLaren on that same wheel, and that is going to mean a lot of wheel damage for me. And unfortunately, as we come into the pits, we can see a whopping 7 minutes of required repairs, completely taking me out of this race, and not a great start, these two races here at Suzuka. Now we absolutely get ourselves back out on track to finish this race off and hold on to as much of that safety rating as we can. The lessons I've learned from this race particularly is how important it is to avoid incidents at all costs. Yes, I would have gone off track and lost a lot of positions, but it could have saved me 7 minutes of damage, and just trying to be a little bit too quick getting by incidents has definitely caused me a drama in this one. Now later in the race with an LMP3 here, this very unfortunate moment, holding onto the racing line but just getting a little bit too close there, that car trying to pass me, tips him into a spin, and unfortunately we pick up 4 more incident points as a result. And right on the last lap here, we actually have emerging from the pit lane this blue Mercedes for position. Not what I was expecting, but as I said, with 13 incident points now, I wasn't going to risk getting involved in any more contact just for one more position being so far down the field. So we're going to come through the final corners here to finish this race off in 23rd position, losing even more safety rating and potentially putting at risk my B-class promotion. However, we aren't giving up on this one. I want to put a whole race together, so we are going to move on to a third race here at Suzuka. So a return to GT4 fixed. We have qualified in position number 11, once again right in the middle of this 23 car field. Waiting for the green light, and we get a decent jump away here. Car 18 on my outside, and it's a couple of cars behind that have missed the jump a little bit. Down towards turn number 1, we do have a nose in front of car 18 on the outside of turn 1 here. Going to at least hold this inside line, and sensibly that BMW decides to slot in behind, and the train forms through turns 1 and 2. Once again, no issues with the field at turn 1. Nice clean start to this race. Now it's really interesting, these opening laps, everyone on cold tyres coming through these S-curves, lots of different lines from drivers, and it really does look like it's enticing moves here. The car 14 sort of has a think about the inside of car number 4 through turn 7, and that puts him wide there, and I have the same thought going down towards turn number 8. Think better of it though, a little bit of brake, fall in behind as we come through the Digna curves, and car 18 all over the back of me into turn number 9, but a decent enough exit takes a little bit of pressure off as we head up towards the hairpin. Hoping for no moments in these opening laps, really hoping this race settles down quickly, and I'm already starting to find a little bit of time compared to my other races. Practice is definitely paying off at this point with some nice rotation and exit out of the hairpin there. Through 130R in car 4, the Aston Martin there running wide a little bit. That's giving car 14 an opportunity around the outside at the chicane, and then on the exit of the chicanes, car 20 in front, big wiggle there on the curb as he exits that onto the front straight. Car 14 straight by, and car 4 with a run on him heading down towards turn number 1 to start lap number 2. Those cars are going to be a little bit side by side into turn 1, so we're going to have to see how that one unfolds. Shallow line there with car 18, also all over the rear bumper. Being very cautious, haven't picked up any incident points to this moment. Car 20 very slow out of turn 2, and through this opening sequence he's just trying a little bit too hard here on cold tyres, looking very scrappy, and I'm having to check up a little bit mid-corner. Once again, bit of a wide exit for that car. Not really sure exactly which way to go here, but he's definitely slowing me up. Car 18 all over the rear bumper, as I said, coming up towards turn number 8. As a result, those two cars that passed car 20 on the front straight already a second up the road, so you can just see how much it's holding us up, and the cars behind starting to queue up behind this Mercedes. Really wild on the exit of turn number 9 up towards the hairpin, but he's starting to pull a tiny gap coming down towards the hairpin. Car 18 showing the nose once again into the hairpin, but a good exit from me here, and we have managed to open up a little bit of a gap behind and a tiny bit of breathing room. Now the middle section of the race actually was quite calm for me, not getting involved in any lap 3 incidents and actually having a little bit of space out on track. But the threat from behind did emerge there. The yellow Aston Martin was now closing in on the rear bumper, car number 5, with 4 minutes of this race still to go. Despite him being right there and him being a higher ranked driver, I was starting to feel a bit more confident in my ability to get around the Suzuka circuit. I've done a 2 minute 11.2 in the race, and my pace at this back end of this race was half decent at this moment, so we were going to just put our best foot forward, try and drive nice and clean, hitting apexes and braking markers, and make this Aston Martin do the hard work for the rest of this race, and hopefully hold him off and hold on to a top 10 finish. With 2.5 minutes to go, coming around Spoon Corner onto the back straight, you can see starting to make a bit of progress on some of these cars in front as well. And as we get into the last lap of the race, we're actually catching pretty much all of the cars in the top 10 are now quite close in front of us. Coming out of turn 7, you can see that Mercedes is right in front of me now, and in fact as we come up towards the Degner curves, the red car you just saw going now into turn 9 is second place in this race, so the whole field bunching up with the leader clearing out, but the whole top 10 now right in the same part of the racetrack. It's going to be a tight finish here on the last lap. Now coming to the hairpin, the yellow Aston Martin does make a dive to the hairpin there. Should have covered that one off considering it's the last lap, expecting a move into really one of the critical passing opportunities on the circuit here. We're going to go side by side though around turn number 12 up towards Spoon Curve, and I have managed to actually clear the nose of that car a little bit. Not sure if he's going to try and dive down the insides, running a little bit wide, and then unfortunately all by myself running very wide the second Spoon corner, and that is going to put him side by side down the back straight towards 130R. Now this is a very unfortunate position that I've put myself in, running wide of that last corner there, and being around too wide at 130R was not going to work at all. So we've checked up, I have held on to the track limits there, but unfortunately I've had to give away both 10th and 11th position, falling outside the top 10 as those two cars go by. But considering how my first two races went, I was happy to lift the throttle a bit and not pick up any more incident points. So we do come across the line in 11th position. We have finished a race without big incident. iRacing telling me I need to do a bit more practice, which is a fair call. How have we managed to hold on to this week 12? Have we managed to do enough for promotion? Well, let's look at the numbers and find out. So there's no fairy tale finish for me in terms of results at Suzuka this week. But the big question though has got to be, have I done enough to secure my B license promotion for Season 4? Well, with the safety rating gain in that last race, we have ended on a 3.41 safety rating, which yes is enough to promote me to B license next season. And I've got to admit that it is a huge relief to get to this point. When I started iRacing a few months ago, the intention was always to get to this GT3 class in B license to truly start to compare this sim against others that I have played. Now along the way I've had a tremendous amount of fun, and it's taught me a lot more about iRacing than I initially expected, but this next season in the GT3s is getting me very, very excited. I've already spent a bunch of time in the demo drive time of week 13 to choose a car, and in the next videos you're going to see which car I chose and how we get on with those first few races. Now to be clear, we're definitely not done with GT4 just yet. The new update has me very excited, and I plan to do a good chunk of Season 4 in those GT4 cars. But if you want to see how those GT3 races play out, then please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm very interested to see how it plays out for myself, and absolutely we will bring you all of the storyline as it unfolds week to week. Now guys, I'd love to know how your week 12s went on iRacing. Have you gained promotion? And let me know as well what you would have done in those two incidents. Where did I go wrong? I think I have some learnings, but I'm always keen to hear your opinion as well. As always, a huge thank you if you've watched this video to this point. Race hard, stay positive. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.